We always have to have the students at the centre of everything we do, and that you're not going to get very far going it alone, that you need to have people with you who are going on that journey together. Our journey in SIL over the last 2 years has been incredible, and when I was thinking about the journey that we've taken, it did remind me of a movie that I had recently seen. And the movie talked about relationships. It talked about strong relationships, and it talked about relationships that needed to be built on. And it really reminded me of what was happening back at school, about the relationships that we needed to build and to build on and to continue. Part of the movie, there was the Michelin star chef was speaking to her understudy and her assistant, and he decided to attempt to make a sauce that she was famous for. It was either a bechamel or a hollandaise sauce. And so he's stirring away, and she came up to him, she said, "I smell something." And he said, "I've just added a few spices." And she said, "What makes you think you can change this recipe that is 200 years old?" And he said, "Well, 200 years is long enough." And I thought that's perfect, because although we're comfortable in what we're doing, and we're always doing the same things and we build on what we're doing, sometimes you need to add a little bit of spice just to change things, because change is inevitable. Change does start to occur when people sort of get on that momentum of working together, of building relationships, of getting to know each other. It always does lead to change. So the way that we began on that journey was that we started to talk about what are some words that sum up what happens at our school. When you are asked the question, what does literacy learning look like? What do you think about? So from that process, we were able to brainstorm a whole lot of words. And from those words, and again, this happened as a whole staff. It was never just myself and the leadership team. It was a collaborative approach to it. We started to break apart those words so that we could see, well, okay, in the prep area, what does literacy learning look like? What does it look like in the 1-2, and so forth? But then from these 4 different observations, we were able to come together to see, well, what are the links that hold our school together? What is it that makes us unique in regards to literacy learning? And we were able to start to formulate some statements about what effective literacy learning looks like at our school. That went on to, the teachers were then saying, well, hang on, this is not just about effective literacy learning, this is about effective learning at our school. Probably the biggest challenge that I had to face at this school was that I was a brand new team member to the school. So as well as me being brand new, we were also involved in the SIL project, and all of a sudden I was being asked to audit what had already happened in the past, something that I wasn't part of. So I really had to start to build relationships with people on staff, and just to build that sense of trust that I wasn't someone who was just going to come in and say, right, what you're doing is no good, and we're just going to change it. Because really I didn't know what was already occurring. So I had to really get a real sense of the school and a sense of where they were at with literacy before starting on this journey of change, really.
I found that they were looking in and sort of quizzing what's going on there, and they were very curious to what was happening, because they could already see the enthusiasm and the motivation of the new learning that was taking place in just the middle area of the school. And we had one pocket of the school that they sort of took themselves and were trialling different aspects of our new approach and our new structure. And then eventually they basically tapped me on the shoulder and said, we want to buy in. We want to also take on this new approach and this new structure. We're quite excited about what's going on. We'd reflect as a team. We would identify the challenges together and support one another and bounce off each other's ideas. And one teacher would say, I tried it this way, it didn't quite work. And another teacher would then say, that actually happened to me too, but then I tried this. So the teachers themselves were so intrinsically rewarded with what was happening. They were giving each other feedback all the time, and in many aspects just leading each other and leading the way.